Hi and welcome. I'm Andy Miocha and you're watching A News. Here are the headlines. Volodymyr Zelensky expected to sign the minerals deal with Donald Trump tomorrow in Washington. New round of talks between US and Russia concludes in Istanbul after 6.5 hours. Jailed leader of the Kurdistan Workers' Party calls for the group to lay down its arms and dissolve. Thank you for tuning in. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is expected to meet US President Donald Trump in the White House tomorrow to sign a deal on sharing his country's mineral resources. Zelensky has described the agreement as preliminary and said he wants further agreements which include US security guarantees to deter Russia.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will visit Washington to sign a key agreement with the United States focused on rare earth minerals. He confirmed the deal would be finalized during his visit.
This deal could be a great success, or it could pass quietly. And the big success depends on our conversation with President Trump.
The US President, Donald Trump, described the deal as very big and emphasized that it includes not only rare earth minerals, but other elements of mutual interest. Sources close to the negotiations revealed to Reuters that this minerals deal is central to Ukraine's efforts to secure continued US support, especially as President Trump pushes for a rapid end to the ongoing war with Russia.
President Zelensky is going to be coming on Friday. That's now confirmed, and we're going to be signing an agreement, which will be a very big agreement. And I want to thank Howard and Scott for the job you guys did in putting it together. Really did an amazing job. And that'll be on rare earth and other things.
Despite optimism surrounding the minerals deal, concerns persist over the US reluctance to include explicit security guarantees for Ukraine, a key demand from Kyiv, with one source stating that the US opposed adding such provisions to the agreement. Earlier drafts of the agreement saw significant pushback from Ukraine, particularly when Washington sought rights to Ukraine's natural resources worth an estimated $500 billion. Kyiv rejected this, arguing that the US had provided far less in aid, and the deal did not adequately address the security concerns critical to Ukraine's sovereignty.
Donald Trump said he's planning to hit goods made in the European Union with a 25% tariff. Speaking to reporters at his first cabinet meeting, Trump said the tariffs will be announced very soon. The European Union vowed to respond firmly and immediately to any unjustified trade barriers.
We have made a decision. We'll be announcing it very soon, and it'll be 25%, generally speaking, and that'll be on cars and all other things. And European Union is a different case than Canada, different kind of case. They've really taken advantage of us in a different way.
A new round of talks between US and Russian delegations concluded in Istanbul after more than 6.5 hours. No comments were made by the delegations following the meeting. The talks were focused on trying to restore normal functioning of embassies, and following the talks, Russian President Vladimir Putin said initial contacts with Donald Trump's new administration had inspired hope. In a speech to the FSB, Vladimir Putin warned Western elites against trying to sabotage potential restoration of ties between Russia and the United States, saying Moscow would use its diplomats and intelligence services to thwart such efforts.
First contacts with the new US administration give certain hopes. There is mutual determination to work restoration of relations between two countries. It is important that our current partners demonstrate pragmatism and realistic view on things. They reject many stereotypes, so-called rules, and messianic ideological cliches of their predecessors, who in fact led to international relationship crisis. We understand that not everybody welcomes restoration of Russia, US contacts. Some Western elites keep seeking instability in the world, and this forces will try to disrupt or undermine dialogue which has begun. You and I can see it.
More and more voices are being heard in Europe that the United States is no longer to be relied on. Germany's likely next chancellor called for Europe's military independence from the US.
Germany's new leader Friedrich Merz has made a stark declaration. Europe must achieve independence from the US on defense. Hours after his party's election win, Merz warned that NATO's future is in doubt and suggested Europe must quickly build its own security framework. His comments come as Donald Trump's policies increasingly sideline European interests. Tensions escalated on February 24th when the US sided with Russia in blocking a UN resolution condemning Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Instead, Washington pushed through its own resolution, calling for an end to the war, without affirming Ukraine's territorial integrity. European leaders are now considering military deployment to Ukraine as part of a future peace deal. However, such a move exposes key weaknesses. Europe lacks enough troops, would strain its own defenses, and still relies on American intelligence and logistics. A full-scale European defense force would require a drastic increase in military spending far beyond current levels. Europe's dependence on the US extends beyond conventional forces. Key military capabilities such as reconnaissance, air defense systems and satellite intelligence are largely provided by Washington. Even weapons like Britain's Storm Shadow missiles rely on US data. Meanwhile, European defense production has grown, but the continent remains reliant on American rocket artillery and stealth aircraft. The greatest challenge is nuclear deterrence. Europe has long relied on the US nuclear umbrella, but with Washington's commitment in question, Merz has urged discussions with Britain and France, the European two nuclear powers. However, their combined arsenal is a fraction of Russia's, and expanding it would take years. Britain also depends on the US for key missile components, further complicating independent nuclear strategy. Merz's warning is clear. Europe is at a turning point, and without immediate action, it risks being left defenseless.
Pope Francis remains hospitalized with pneumonia, with the Vatican saying the pontiff had a tranquil night and is resting. This is his longest stay in the hospital during his papacy.
Pope Francis remains in a critical but slightly improved condition after spending his 13th night at Rome's Gemelli Hospital. That's according to the Vatican, who says that he slept well and is now resting. It's the longest hospital stay of the 88-year-old's nearly 12-year papacy. He continues to receive oxygen, but there have been no further respiratory issues, and a CT scan revealed normal progress in the inflammation of his lungs. That's according to officials. On Wednesday, hundreds of faithful gathered in St. Peter's Square to pray for the Pope's recovery.
And just kind of walking through here every day, you can kind of feel how everything's been kind of sad. So I definitely say it's disappointing and kind of everyone's on edge. There's a lot of tension in the air.
Yes, the Pope is important, I think, for the whole world. So it's only right that we come here with a thought and greet him even just with a thought. We come from Sardinia. We are here for something else. But we said let's stop by, and that's it.
For centuries, discussing the Pope's health was considered taboo at the Vatican, as the pontiff is a revered spiritual figure for the world's 1.4 billion Catholics. However, since Pope Francis was hospitalized with double pneumonia on February the 14th, the Vatican has taken a more transparent approach, providing daily updates on his condition. Born in Buenos Aires, Pope Francis became the first pope from the Southern Hemisphere and the first non-European pope in nearly 1,300 years when he was elected in 2013. His focus on mercy and advocacy for the underprivileged has earned him global respect and admiration.
Hamas has handed over the bodies of 4 Israeli hostages to the Red Cross in exchange for Israel's release of more than 600 Palestinian prisoners. Crowds gathered to greet a bus carrying freed prisoners from Israel's Ofer prison in the occupied West Bank. The first phase of the ceasefire saw 33 hostages exchanged for some 2,000 prisoners. Israel announced it was sending negotiators to Cairo for talks, seeking to extend the first phase of the deal due to expire in 2 days. Palestinians in Gaza have reacted strongly to Donald Trump sharing an AI-generated video on his Truth Social of, quote, "What's next for Gaza?" featuring skyscrapers, a golden statue of him, bearded belly dancers, and Netanyahu drinking cocktails.
Barefoot Palestinian children walk through the rubble of Gaza before transitioning to a futuristic skyline of skyscrapers along the coast. This is US President Donald Trump's idea of what the Strip could look like. The artificial intelligence-generated video posted by Trump shows a Gulf state-style resort. In creating this, he's proposing removing 2.1 million Palestinians from the area to turn the territory into a US-owned Riviera. For many people there, Trump's vision is not only unrealistic, but deeply offensive.
The President of the United States of America published a video showing that he wants to rebuild Gaza after displacing its people. So we are asking him, why displace its people? Why doesn't he come, say welcome, come and rebuild Gaza with its people in it? Its people can rebuild it. He can pay money, fix things, and free us from this occupation.
The one who is saying those words, if we say to him, "Leave your land," would he be happy? Trump or others, or foreigners, would they be happy with their own displacement? They wouldn't, because it's their land. I have lived in Gaza. I don't want to go to Egypt. I would live the rest of my life feeling that I've been wronged and like a stranger.
While the video was widely condemned, some Gazans found aspects of the vision appealing.
Regarding the video that has been published and shared on social media websites, I am with the idea of Gaza being transformed from its current state to a beautiful second stage, where it would be constantly rebuilt and we would not be exposed to war or destruction. Its people should live in safety. I always say this and repeat it. Gaza is beautiful with its people.
Gaza's Hamas-run government media office denounced the video as disgraceful. Arab leaders met in Riyadh on Friday to discuss Trump's plan, which Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has endorsed. A follow-up meeting in Cairo next Tuesday will see regional leaders present their stance.
Heavy rain and strong winds in Gaza are making life extremely difficult. Cold temperatures have also worsened the situation for displaced families without proper shelter. Diseases are spreading rapidly as well.
The most vulnerable living in Gaza are struggling to survive the freezing temperatures, heavy rain and strong winds. According to the Ministry of Health, 7 newborn babies have died from hypothermia in the last 2 weeks. The plastic sheeting that provides shelter doesn't provide any warmth or comfort from the winter weather.
As you can see, water is pouring on us from all sides. I am trying to stabilise it with sticks, but it still leaks from the other side, so I moved my children to another spot. Our belongings are scattered everywhere, but the water keeps coming in and everything is soaked. We haven't slept all night, and I have no idea what to do. The wind is so strong that it lifts the tent. I don't know how anyone can survive in such conditions. Our situation is extremely bad.
It's not just surviving the challenging elements, it's diseases and infections that are also cause for concern.
The most common diseases now are serious skin infections. My little sister suffers a lot from skin diseases, and I mean unusual skin conditions. This is because of the polluted water we get from the wells. The water is so contaminated that it causes heart and intestinal diseases as well.
The most at risk are infants, pregnant and breastfeeding women, as well as the elderly. Hospital health officials are calling on mediators in the conflict between Israel and Hamas to urgently provide mobile homes as temporary shelters for more than 280,000 families. They also call for fuel deliveries to ensure warmth and safeguard young children from the harsh weather conditions.
Algeria's upper house of parliament suspended its relations with the French Senate following a visit by its speaker to the disputed Western Sahara region. The Algerian Council of the Nation said it decided to immediately suspend all ties after the French officials' visit to the city of Laayoune, the main city in the disputed Western Sahara that Algiers considers occupied. The region has been a source of tensions between Algeria and Morocco for about 50 years. Algeria supports the local Polisario Front and its calls for self-determination, while Morocco proposes autonomy for the region under its sovereignty. The UN does not recognize the sovereignty claims of either the Polisario Front or Morocco. Donald Trump suggested that the Taliban should return military equipment worth, quote, billions of dollars left behind by U.S. troops during their withdrawal from Afghanistan. Tamim Bahis has more on that in Kabul.
U.S. President Donald Trump continues to pursue compensation from Afghanistan while doubling down on his criticism on the circumstances surrounding the U.S. troop withdrawal from Afghanistan, with a particular focus on the importance of the Bagram Air Base. Speaking at a news conference, Trump once again condemned the withdrawal process, stating that under his administration, the U.S. planned to withdraw in a controlled manner, while maintaining a presence at Bagram Air Base, not for Afghanistan, but to monitor China's nuclear missile production. Trump emphasized that Bagram, one of the largest air bases in the world, should never have been abandoned, and accused former President Biden of allowing China to take control of the facility. He also reiterated his long-standing complaint that the U.S. left behind military equipment worth billions of dollars, including brand new trucks, which he claims the Taliban now display in parades while waving their flags and mocking the U.S. Additionally, Trump repeated his assertion that American public was largely unaware of the billions in aid sent to Afghanistan. He suggested that the Taliban should return the abandoned U.S. equipment and directed his Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, to study the possibility of reclaiming it. So far, the Taliban have not officially responded to Trump's latest comments. However, when he previously made similar statements, the Taliban spokesman dismissed the idea of returning the equipment and stated that the assets are now the property of the Afghan state, and that there was no agreement with the US regarding their return. Tamim Bahis, A News, Kabul, Afghanistan.
Uzbekistan and Pakistan are aiming to boost their trade turnover to $2 billion. Pakistani Prime Minister visited Tashkent to talk infrastructure, trade, and the Trans-Afghan Railway. Our Fariza Kalimurzina brings more.
Uzbekistan and Pakistan look to bolster bilateral trade, aiming to increase trade turnover of $2 billion. President of Uzbekistan Shavkat Mirziyoyev and the Prime Minister of Pakistan Shehbaz Sharif have discussed this matter in the framework of the latter's official visit to Tashkent. Currently, trade between the two countries exceeds $400 million last year. The number of joint ventures has reached 130, and air travel between Tashkent and Lahore has been restored. Additionally, the volume of freight transportation through the Uzbekistan-Afghanistan-Pakistan multimodal corridor has increased fivefold in recent years. The two countries expressed their intention to simplify the requirements for goods transportation and to collaborate on modernizing interbank settlements. Plans are also in place to launch projects in the pharmaceutical and agricultural sectors. The sides also agreed to establish a joint transport and logistics company to deepen and strengthen bilateral cooperation. On February 26, President Mirziyoyev and Prime Minister Sharif shared their assessments of their negotiations during a meeting with the media. They emphasized the importance of coordinating efforts to advance the Trans-Afghan Railway project. The leaders openly discussed the project's challenges and agreed on solutions. According to Uzbekistan's Minister of Transport, the countries will work together to improve infrastructure in Afghanistan and allocate funds for the feasibility study of the Mazar-e-Sharif-Halaki railway line. Uzbek estimates suggest that the railway will reduce cargo delivery time between Uzbekistan and Pakistan by approximately 5 days, while transportation costs will decrease by at least 40%. The project is expected to be completed by the end of 2027, and by 2030 trains will be able to transport up to 15 million tons of cargo annually. From Almaty, Kazakhstan, Fariza Kalimurzina, A News.
A French citizen accused of espionage in Azerbaijan has admitted to ties with French intelligence. Martin Ryan, currently on trial in Baku, claims he was drawn into spy activities through the abuse of trust. During the trial, Ryan stated that he came to Azerbaijan to conduct legitimate business and, as an entrepreneur, established contacts with the French embassy. He confirmed meeting 3 French intelligence officers working under diplomatic cover. He said that meetings with the agents took place at the French embassy and in public places. Ryan also said that he sought help from the French government but received no response. For now, he remains in custody, facing serious charges that could lead to a lengthy sentence. The jailed leader of the Kurdistan Workers' Party, or PKK, Abdullah Öcalan, has called for the group to lay down its arms and dissolve itself. His appeal, announced by the Turkish pro-Kurdish DEM party, urges the PKK to hold a congress and formally dissolve. This could be a step toward ending a 4-decade insurgency that has deeply impacted southeastern Turkey. The PKK is considered a terrorist organization by Turkey and several others. If Öcalan's call is accepted, it could have wide-reaching effects, especially in northern Iraq and Syria, where Kurdish groups have significant presence. Georgia's foreign minister visited Ankara for talks on regional cooperation. Nini Nikolaishvili has more in Tbilisi.
Turkey, Georgia, and Azerbaijan are deepening strategic partnership with their high-ranking officials, emphasizing the significance of trilateral cooperation. During her visit to Ankara, Georgian Foreign Minister Maka Bojarishvili praised the strong economic and political partnership between Georgia and Turkey, calling it the relation based on friendship and mutual respect. She also highlighted Turkey's support for Georgia's sovereignty, its NATO aspirations, and key infrastructure projects like Baku-Tbilisi-Kars Railway and the Middle Corridor. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan in turn underlined the crucial role of Georgia, Azerbaijan, and Turkey for regional security. He stated that the joint projects hold a high strategic function and could serve as a model of regional security and stability in the South Caucasus and the Black Sea region. Both officials stressed the importance of continued dialogue and economic collaboration, reaffirming their commitment to the regional peace and security. I'm Nini Nikolaishvili, reporting from Tbilisi, A News.
London's famous Piccadilly Circus is once again shining bright for Ramadan. For the 3rd year in a row, the heart of the British capital is adorned with stunning lights in Coventry Street, celebrating the holy month with a spectacular display.
Coventry Street, a major thoroughfare in London's West End, is now glowing with the message Happy Ramadan, illuminated by a breathtaking display of around 31,000 LED lights. The decorations, which will remain in place until March the 29th, symbolize not only the spirit of Ramadan, but also London's commitment to diversity and harmony. Ahead of the grand lighting ceremony, a heartwarming lantern procession took place, featuring school children carrying traditional lanterns. This event, part of the Ramazan Kandilleri project, added a touch of cultural heritage and community engagement to the evening's festivities. The honor of switching on the Ramadan lights was given to the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, who delivered an inspiring message, emphasizing unity in the face of global divisions.
Across the globe, we have all forms of hatred, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and other forms of hatred. These lights are the antidote to that hatred. I want you to be proud of these lights, whether you're a Muslim or a non-Muslim, because here in London, you can be proud to be a Londoner, proud to be English, proud to be British, and proud to be Muslim. This month of Ramadan, as we fast from dawn to dusk, I think we should remember those less fortunate, those in Gaza, those in Ukraine, those in Sudan, but also use this month of Ramadan to build bridges rather than walls.
As Ramadan brings people together in reflection and generosity, this dazzling display stands as a beacon of hope, reinforcing London's reputation as a city that embraces and celebrates its rich multicultural fabric.
In space news, NASA has launched a satellite to look for water on the moon. The lunar Trailblazer lifted off from Florida's Kennedy Space Center.
5, 4, 3.
The NASA satellite is now on its way to the moon, aiming to discover where water exists on its surface. Built by Lockheed Martin, the Lunar Trailblazer is designed to locate and measure water, especially in permanently shadowed craters at the lunar poles. Scientists believe ice may be hidden there, though its exact locations remain uncertain. Previous research has even found traces of water in sunlit areas. Weighing 200 kilograms, the satellite will orbit the moon and send back crucial data. Experts say mapping could support future lunar missions, providing astronauts with drinking water and even fuel for space travel. With long-term moon exploration in sight, this mission is a major step toward making lunar bases a reality.
Well, that's all we have for you for now. Thank you for watching and stay tuned to A News.